Hi guys, this is Sarah Crochet&Fabrics, and I am starting out a new project today, which will be a crochet and cross stitch combo idea that I've been rolling around in my head a little bit. So pretty much I will be crocheting the panel and then cross stitch on it. And my plan as of this moment, it just depends on how it ends up being time consuming or not. I want to use those panels and put them together, and also do the back end in like a flannel or fleece or something, because if you do any cross stitching, you know that usually the back of the work is kind of messy, at least for me. So I will need to back it with another fabric to make it a throw or a blanket or whatever. So that's my plan right now. What I will be using today will be this yarn by Mainstays. It's from Walmart. It's anti-pale acrylic yarn. At the time I paid $266 plus tax for it. It's showing us 240 yards, and it is a 4-weight. So that's what I will be using. I am working on the grid as far as like on a, what are those called? Anyways, I think it's drafting paper, where you can kind of get an idea of making the image that you want. So I already have that set up. So I am just now creating the squares I will be using. So I'm back again using my 4.0 millimeter crochet hook, and I have all of my little supplies near me. So let me start. We'll be starting with a chain of 33. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, and 33. Okay. So second chain from the hook, there's the first chain, there's the second one, and we are just doing all single crochet. 2, 3. I always like to count this part just to make sure that I have a correct foundation. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, can't get it, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oops, split. Shoot. Goodness. 6, 7, 28, 29, 30. 31 and 32. That is what we should have, and we will be doing this up to 37 rows is what I discovered is the best option for the design that I will be putting on some of them. So let me just do another row with you guys, and then I will come back to you once I get this completed. So it's pretty all. I like this because this, once again, one of those projects where I don't really have to keep counting. I do occasionally count, make sure that I still have the 32 rows, but I haven't had an issue with it. So as you can see, I'm just doing a single crochet in each space right there. I have really never cross-stitched before. I really always felt like I didn't have the patience for it, and I think it was a little bit too intricate for me, but I've always wanted to. I've always admired people who like did the beautiful cross stitch on pillowcases, or I've seen people do it on like what is it, tablecloth. Now I've bought a lot of cross stitch over the years. Matter of fact, I have a huge selection of cross stitch if you visit my Poshmark store, and I have quite a bit in there. I've bought from different places, estate sales, so I have a whole bunch in there. You should definitely check that out if you are into cross stitching. I didn't realize how expensive cross stitch was, especially the really intricate ones, so I have quite a bit in there, so you should definitely check that out on Poshmark. It is at Secret Love, SECRETLUV. I'll put the link below, and you can check out all of the cross stitch kits that I have. Really cute ones, but I don't cross stitch, not like that. I do like the idea of combining the cross stitch and crochet, so I think that's what kind of piqued my interest. So I will be doing the design. I'm not going to tell you guys right now what the design will be, but I will tell you one thing. It will be using, at least part of it anyway, will be using glow in the dark yarn, which is just so amazing. I love anything glow in the dark when I was little, and that love has not gone away. But glow in the dark yarn is kind of hard to find, especially, of course, extra hard to find when it is near Halloween like it is now. So I was blessed to already have some in my stash, because right now it's very hard to find, especially in USA stores like think you can probably order it online, but the chances of actually getting it before Halloween is over or that period is over is going to be pretty slim. And even Amazon, the Amazon have a couple on there. I do prefer, since I am working on a project, that I use the glow in the dark yarn that I'm currently used to, which is a Lions brand, and Lions brand is out of it. So I wanted to use that same brand, and I did go to Amazon and look for it there, and it was $11 for one ball, and it's only 71 yards, so it's a very little ball for $11. Now, even with Lion brand, it is still kind of high. I believe it was like $6.99 per ball, but when I bought mine a while ago, I think I actually got it on one of their sales, so that was the only reason that kind of excused me buying it, because I usually don't pay that much for yarn. But thank goodness I already have some in stock, so I will be able to complete this project, and this is where we are so far. So I'll be back with you guys once I get to that 37 rows. Okay guys, I am back, and so what I have here is the panel that I was making earlier. So I finished that, did 37 total rows. So this is what I have right this moment. So yeah, so now I am going to start cross stitching. I'm not an expert at cross stitching, so bear with me. So this is the glow in the dark yarn that is Lions brand. It comes like that, and it's 4-weight, and it's 71 yards that come on each ball. Okay, so I am not going to reveal what this is until I move along a little bit, and then of course I will tell you guys. So I usually start on the third row. So this is a row and this is a row. And just for anyone that haven't done this, the way the cross stitching works, if you can see, yeah, the way the cross stitching works. So this is 2 rows of single crochet, right? So this is 2 rows, and each row is 2 blocks. So I crochet, when I go ahead and do the cross stitching, it'll be 2 separate, this right here is 2 separate rows of grid of cross stitching. Let me just kind of show you guys, because it took me a second. So the trick is, from what I've heard, is to kind of stay in the same direction that you cross stitch. So right now I am doing a row of 5, so I know I'm going to start here, and I usually go from the far left to the top right. So just to show you here, and I leave a little bit here. So I'm starting on the 3rd row, and you see right here is the little square grid, and that is 1 stitch. So then right next to it, because I'm doing 5 in this particular row, and there's lots of videos on cross stitching if anyone needs some more detail direction, but this is how I do it. And this is an amazing project because it looks kind of boring at first, and then after you're done and you really put it, because you know with glow in the dark yarn, you have, because there's glow in the dark yarn and there's reflective yarn, right? So you have to, with glow in the dark, you have to expose it to light for a few moments, and then it glows for a little bit. And so, well, with reflective yarn, which I know is out there, I have some in my stash, when light hits it, like a car light or something flashes on it, it kind of reflects. So it appears like it's glowing, but it's really just reflecting. So we have 5 stitches right there. So as you see, that's all on the 1st row, and then my 2nd row is coming up. So for this 2nd row, it is, I have to go 2 stitches over. Make sure that's right, yeah. All right. Let me try to hold this better, because I'm kind of holding it where I'm not too comfortable. You guys can see all that. I try not to make my thread too long. But once you get it, like, I think once I made my first one, it was super easy. I was able to speed up quite a bit, and it just made the whole process a lot quicker. And you see the grid after you do it for a little bit. I mean, it looks to me like a regular cross stitch, but like I said, I have very limited experience cross stitching, but I did know that you typically go in the same direction to make everything look uniform. So I am following that rule most of the time. I can't wait to show you guys what it is. I mean, you can certainly guess. I would tell you it is a movie that came out, and it's a sequel that have not come out yet, so it's related to that. Yep. I've never I've never done a solid, like another fabric, whether fleece or flannel backing, on a crochet project yet, so I will have to end up googling or looking on YouTube, of course, on what's the best way to do that. So this is the second row, and this is a little bit of thread. You know, let me see here. I can do a couple. Let me not waste any, because this is very hard to come by, so I don't want to waste any. So I'm just gonna look at my directions I'm looking at here, and it says 1 over. Yeah, so let me just go ahead and tie it off with that. I don't like to try. I like to tie off at every time, not waiting until the yarn is too short like I did here. But with this being extremely hard to find, I really don't want to waste much. So yeah, so I have another piece already pre-cut, and thread that up. Glance out my pattern here for the third row, and it's saying I should skip a square and go. Ooh, what did I do, guys? I did something wrong. Yep, I did something wrong. Yep, I did it wrong. And I could play it off, but I don't want to play it off. So yeah. And since this piece, and like I said, give me grace because I have no idea how to cross stitch. So since I messed up, I'm just gonna tie these two together so that I don't have that little end hanging there and then it comes apart. So let me just look at my, there we go. Okay, it's all good. So I'm actually supposed to make my stitch right over this one. I think I went ahead and went over one more, yeah. So yeah, it's okay. It is okay. And then I skip, yeah, the next one. Yeah. And it's so cool with the skipping of some of these, because I've done this with the black panel. I didn't want to do that today because sometimes black is a really hard to see, even though this is a white over cross stitch, but I just don't like to do black on camera. So I'm just going about. I most likely will speed this up quite a bit. Once I'm not skipping spaces, I can go kind of fast. Once I start skipping spaces, I try to be extra careful not to skip the wrong space and then have to try to fix it. But I've been doing pretty good. Usually any mistakes I've made, I can easily fix without destroying the whole piece. Okay, so I do know I skip one here and then go over to the next little square. Okay, so this is what we have so far, and then for my next one, the next row, I am doing 1, 2, 3. I don't think I can hold to not telling you guys what this is any longer. I don't really want to tell you. Well, let me tell you where I got the pattern for this. So I was looking for the idea, and I went to Pinterest, and I found something that was kind of close, so I just kind of altered it, and it ended up working. So, but like I said, the cool part about this, which allows me not to use like other colors, is because this glows in the dark. So once you expose it to light and you see the glow of it, I mean, you'll see what it is before that, but once you go ahead and turn the lights off and expose it to the light and then turn the lights off, it is so awesome. So I'm doing a total of 5 here. Go ahead and pull that out. But let me know if you've ever done this before. I personally didn't even know it was a thing, so I was super excited to try it out. And then when I kind of got it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much you can do with it, but you will have to either make another panel to go on the back, which is something I don't want to do. That's going to be too much work crocheting pretty much another blanket or whatever this ends up being. So I think I will opt to go with the fabric. So I know I skip 1 and then I do 3, just like the other side. I used to make my threads a lot longer, but everything was getting tangled a lot, and it was just taking a lot of extra time trying to untangle it in the back. So I decided to make my threads a little shorter. It does mean I have to stop and rethread more often, but it was totally worth it for me. So for this row, I know I go to the second, to the right. yeah, I just went ahead and shortened the amount of thread I have on the needle, because it was just, when it's too long, you kind of get tangled up quite a bit. So I will go ahead and tie off here. So the back is not too bad, but yeah. And I just do a standard knot, making sure it's secure. Nothing too big of a deal. And then I usually just cut it off. So this is what we have so far. So I will work on this a little bit, guys, because I don't want this to be a long video. So I'm going to work on this a little bit, and I'll be back.